Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the incredible stories of how some of the world's most successful peoples and companies rose from humble beginnings to achieve greatness. In this video, we focus on one of the most iconic and prestigious brands in the world, Rolex. From its origins as a small watchmaking workshop in Switzerland to its position as a global symbol of luxury and sophistication, the Rolex brand has an unparalleled reputation for excellence and innovation. Join us as we explore the fascinating history of this legendary brand and discover the secrets behind its rise to the top. From the groundbreaking designs to the visionary leadership that drove the company's success, we'll explore every facet of what makes Rolex an enduring symbol of success and achievement. Get ready to be inspired by the incredible story of how Rolex went from zero to one of the most recognized and respected brands in the world. In 1905, Orphan Hans Wilsdorf and his brother-in-law Alfred Davis founded Rolex. Since then, the company has grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry known around the world. The brand was founded in England, but it soon relocated to Switzerland. Hans had the idea and Alfred had the capital. What makes their partnership so surprising is that Hans was a German orphan. He was neither English nor Swiss, and watchmaking did not run in his family. Hans was born in 1881 in the town of Kulmbach in northern Bavaria. The middle child of three, he was born into a prosperous middle-class family. His grandparents were well off, and his parents ran an ironmonger business in Kulmbach. This allowed young Hans to enjoy his childhood without too much worry. However, when he was 12 years old, tragedy struck twice. His parents died within a short time of each other. His aunt and uncle took custody of the children and promptly sent them to a boarding school in Coburg. Although in his early career, Hans was aware of the flaws in contemporary wristwatches, he saw their promise and believed that they could evolve into timepieces that were not only stylish, but also durable and accurate. Rolex was the first wristwatch to carry the Swiss Certificate of Chronometric Precision in 1910, after Hans had worked tirelessly to enhance the movements of his watches in response to consumer demand for more accuracy in timekeeping. It would take some serious out-of-the-box thinking if he wanted his watches to not only be accurate, but also sturdy. And if he wanted Rolex to be a household name around the world. Hans's brilliance lay not only in the creation of technically advanced watches, but also in their marketing. He knew how to present his inventions to the public in the best possible light. Thus it began in 1926 with the introduction of the waterproof oyster case. This novel case was intended to be water and dust-proof, and they put it to the test by giving one to Mercedes Gleitze. Mercedes, a professional swimmer from Britain, wore the original oyster while she attempted to swim the English Channel and become the first woman to do so. Sadly, the attempt failed due to poor weather, and after more than 15 hours in the frigid waters between France and Great Britain, Mercedes was rescued and brought back to shore. Her Rolex, however, was completely unharmed. In 1933, the crew of the first airplane to fly over Mount Everest wore Rolex watches, proving their efficiency in the air. 20 years later, Sir Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay wore an Oyster Perpetual when they became the first humans to reach the summit of Mount Everest. If that weren't enough, Rolex also made its way to the depths of the ocean. What do Pope John Paul II, the 14th Dalai Lama, Fidel Castro, Che Guevara, James Bond, and Warren Buffett have in common? They all have a fondness for nice Rolex watches. The world was impressed, and gradually the most unlikely characters were seen wearing a Rolex. It's important to remember that before Rolex became the status symbol it is today, a Rolex was primarily a practical tool rather than a fashion statement. Furthermore, Rolex watches weren't nearly as prohibitively expensive as they are today. In 1957, a stainless steel submariner date would have set you back $180, roughly $1,500 in today's dollars. Between 1970 to 1980, a quartz crisis appeared for the Swiss watchmakers. It started when the Japanese watch brand Seiko started making quartz watches. Instead of having mechanical movement, these watches were battery-powered. Since these battery-operated sports watches were more accurate and cheaper to produce than their mechanical counterparts, they quickly replaced the Swiss watch industry as a whole. Overnight, consumers everywhere abandoned mechanical watches in favor of quartz timepieces, and suddenly, Swiss watch makers were at risk of going out of business. To cope with this, Swiss watch brands like Rolex started advertising their products and made it look like a symbol of status, and signed sponsorship deals with major businesses and sports-based activities such as tennis. After the death of his wife, Florence Crotty, in 1945, Hans withdrew from the watch business and handed over control of the company to the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. He passed away 15 years later in Geneva at the age of 79. Thanks to these marketing strategies, Rolex was able to remain relevant despite the quartz craze, and their watches eventually became objects of desire rather than utility. The success of the Rolex brand can be traced back to its dedication to innovation, precision, and functionality, making it a prime example of the adage, "Let your reputation do the work for you." So that's it for today's video. We hope that you would have liked it. If you know any other interesting facts about the history of Rolex, like the fact that it was founded by an orphan, please share them in the comments section down below.